My name is Derek Hunt. I'm the head football coach at Maryville High School, and you're listening to the No Playbook podcast.
All right. Hey, thanks for checking out the show. It's the podcast where we talk with the outstanding athletes, coaches, and experts that help to make sports and fitness such an important part of life here in the Southeast. Folks that listen to this podcast know that I graduated from Maryville High School, one of the best high school football programs in the country over the past 20 plus years. So I really wanted to have the current head coach on the show. By the way, if you are from Maryville, you're listening to this just to hear Coach Hunt. I want to let you know I actually had a stellar athlete from Maryville. Amanda Mack is her name, volleyball player. She was on the podcast a few months ago. So if you'd like to hear that interview, please go back, check it out. It was a great chat. Now, the football coach, it's Derek Hunt, and we've actually known each other for quite a long time. One of Derek's best friends growing up is my brother-in-law. So we dive deep into the football season with the Rebels, all that kind of stuff. But I also talk with him about a story that I heard from my brother-in-law from when they were in the 7th grade. You might think you know Coach Hunt, but I think this story might help give you a little more insight into what kind of a dude he is. I actually moved to Maryville in 97, and since then, the Rebels have won 14 state championships. So we talk about just what it's like to coach under that kind of pressure, to be the best every year. We talk about reloading after the team lost 17 starters last season, and we even play a fun speed round, basically just going over some superlatives with some of his current players. We get to that interview right after this. Sit tight.
RecruitMe puts the recruiting process in your hands. Most student athletes wait for college coaches to discover them, but coaches are busy and don't always have the time to find them. RecruitMe allows you to build an online profile to share directly with college coaches and is designed to help you enter all of the information coaches want to see. Your stats, your highlight videos, your academic information, your social links, and more. Plus, our team is here to make sure that your profile stands out with personalized suggestions. With over 25,000 coaches in our database, our premium plan gives you access to D1, D2, D3, and NAIA coaches across the country, and more importantly, gives them access to you. Enter your schedule of games and tournaments to let coaches know when and where you're playing so they can come out and watch you shine. Then communicate with interested coaches via our chat feature. When it comes to recruiting, don't make coaches research you. Do the work for them. Get started today at the RecruitMe app, on the web, and in the app stores.
At D1 Training, what we do is in our name. Our D1 athletes become D1 athletes. Whether it's Los Angeles Angels pitcher Ben Joyce, high school soccer national MVP Brindley Murphy, or first-round NFL draft pick Cole Strange, we help all athletes reach their full potential. 5-star training system comes straight from D1 strength and conditioning programs, and D1 has trained over 2,000 professional athletes. Many of them started as young as 7 years old. Check out D1Training.com to learn more about their facilities in Hardin Valley and Sevierville, and coming very soon to Maryville and the Tri-Cities.
It's just full speed ahead. You know the drill.
Right on. Hey, so I actually I was with Ryan this weekend.
Yep.
And so I said, I've got Derek coming on the show. I said, I need you to tell me some great story about Derek. And he was like trying to rack his brain to come up with something that would be in the embarrassing realm. But I love that what he shared was, he's like, so here's a story, and Derek will probably remember it. I think he said 7th grade. You're at Ryan's house, staying overnight. And what's funny about that is, about that age, I'm sure I was probably there too, because I was over visiting Lauren all the time.
That's funny.
And of course we could be on different wings of the house and nobody would see. But he says that somebody from up the street TP'd the Risers. And then they decided they were going to seek their revenge or whatever. Do you remember this story?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I do.
Okay. Well, what's good is that Ryan was basically like, even then, Derek was kind of above that. He was like, he didn't want to be a part of the revenge. So he was kind of hanging back, and he's like, and I still remember him running up the street to tell us and warn us that, I guess, Ryan's mom was coming.
Yeah.
So I guess you saved the day to keep them from trouble. But even still back then, Derek was the the guy keeping people out of trouble.
That's funny, man. I remember it. Yeah. She had warned us not to go out and do anything. Of course, you know,
Right.
we're staying above the garage. So it's not like it's not like there's a alarm going off when we left. So I did. I hung back at the house when they went up there, and then
Oh
I
wow,
saw
you
the
didn't even
lights.
go with him. I see.
I saw the lights of her car come on, and so I took off. That's funny, man. I can't believe he remembers that. I remember screaming at him that mom was on the way, so everybody just vanished.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Well, that's great, man. You saved the day back then. Um, thank you, Derek Hunt, for joining me on the show. I wanted to dive in with some football stuff, and when I look at the numbers, I may have misread this, but I think I saw you lost 17 starters. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, from
How do
last
you
year's
how do
team.
you how do you reload after that?
Well, and here's the thing at Maryville, you're always losing quite a bit of starters because we play a lot of upperclassmen. We're not the type of team to go recruit guys to transfer in. I mean, recruiting's illegal.
Mm-hmm.
It happens everywhere now. But we don't go get transfers. And if somebody comes to Maryville, it's because their families moved to Maryville. A lot of times it happens in second grade. And
Mm-hmm.
you don't know that they're not from Maryville by the time they get to us. So we're developing kids, and we're playing a lot of juniors and seniors. Now, that doesn't mean a freshman or sophomore won't start for us, because if they're the best, they'll play. Yeah, absolutely. But just typically play a lot of older guys. So we're used to losing 8 to 14, but 17's a lot. We've not lost that many since I've been around.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things I saw you say from last season was that it took you a long time for the team to like find its identity last
Yeah,
season.
yeah.
So like this year, starting so many new faces, is it going to be even more difficult, or how do you find that identity quicker?
No, I think it's going to be difficult. We kind of had a good idea in the off season that at the end of the day in high school, you got to you got to change with your players, because it's not like college where you can say, all right, here's our system, let's recruit to get this type of quarterback or this type of receiver. You got who you got. So you have to adjust a little bit schematically every year to fit who your players are, who your best players are, and what you have up front and what you may not have up front. So we've adjusted to what we feel like gives us the best chance. But I mean, like, we're already first game of the year, we lose our starting running back, starting linebacker, the same player, Gage Ledoux, to a broken leg. So all of a sudden, house of cards falls down, and we're building it back together again. And but we're more than one guy, at Maryville, and always have been. We're all Maryville's so much bigger than one coach or one player. And next guy up, Bryce Davis, stepped in and rushed for 110 yards Friday night. So had a great night.
That's great. I follow Maryville football on Instagram, and I saw some videos about that. That was pretty cool. So from where I live, we can hear the band. So that's always great. Even
Yeah.
if, we're not going to games. My oldest is 13 now, so he and his buddies love to go to games. But I just love, even if I'm cooking out on a Friday night in the fall, we can hear the band, and that just kind of brings a cool.
Yeah, that's Friday night, Maryville High School. And of course, Ryan can tell you, it's just special. It's different than when you go other places. I'm sure there's some places in Tennessee that have that small town feel, even though Maryville's growing. It still kind of feels like Mayberry on some Friday nights, and where the town shuts down a little bit and everybody shows up. And there's been people that have been going for 50 years on every Friday night to a Maryville game. So it's got a great community feel, and the support is still there.
Yeah. So I don't know if you knew this about me. I moved to Maryville in the 11th grade.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was tough. But the school I came from in North Carolina, like, I couldn't have cared less about football. So it was this was in 97. So it was really interesting to see, because even my first year here, we went to state. We lost to Pearl Cone, the John
Yep.
Henderson team.
Yeah,
But since I've been here, Maryville's won 14, I think, championships.
probably
What
so.
is
Yeah.
that like to coach a program like that, where it's kind of just excellence is expected?
Yeah. Well, that's what you want to be a part of. Every coach would love to have the opportunity to be a part of a program like that. And, you know, obviously, there's some pressure that comes with that. The expectation to win every game and to win state every year. And, you know, I feel like East Tennessee and really Tennessee in general, the football has gotten so much better, even in the last 5 to 10 years. It's so much better than when Ryan and I played. We were playing in the 4A division then. There was only 5 divisions total. I think in 2010 or 11 was our first year in 6A, or the Big 32, they called it then. Now we've been in 6A ever since. And man, it has gotten so competitive with the Oaklands of the world and Ravenwood and Whitehaven. And then now the resurgence of East Tennessee teams as like Bearden and Bradley, as kids move around. And that's what I think that's the future. Honestly, it's not going to go backwards. We're going to see, some superstar teams in Knoxville, Chattanooga area, and Upper East maybe even. So there's a lot of pressure. It's not getting any easier, that's for sure, but it's still a heck of a lot of fun.
You think NIL plays a part of that at all?
1000%. Yeah. Unfortunately, yes. In high school.
Yeah. So, with you saying unfortunately, does high school NIL overcook your grits a little bit?
Well, so here's the problem, and this is what happened in the college game too. NIL, I think, at its essence, at its core, is a good thing. It allows an amateur athlete, which was a high school athlete, to make money on his name, image, and likeness. So if D1 Sports wanted to work a deal with Noah Vaughn, to come up there and shoot a bit for them or post something, and you're working directly with Noah Vaughn, that's the way it's supposed to be. It's not meant for Maryville High School or any other high school to have a third party agent or collective contract or whatever in a pool of money to go call Joe Smith, who's the best player, going to be a junior or senior at a 3A for any school, it doesn't matter, to convince him, hey, we'll give you X amount of dollars a month to move, quote unquote, whether he does or not, into our area and play football for us. And, that's not what high school football is all about. It's about hometown rivalries and playing with your kids, your friends, and obviously people move around. That's part of it. Maryville's had their share of people moving into Maryville, but to me, it's like Coach Eddie Courtney at Farragut said this early in the year when he was asked at Media Day about it. He said, if a family's willing to move into our community and be a part of our community, that's different. But for a high school to be paying kids to come play for them, in my opinion, is really bad. And I think it's something that could only even get worse. There's not much good that can come from it. However, NIL at its core was not meant that way. And so I don't think NIL is bad. And that's a lot of coaches. This is not rocket science. College coaches have said this. The best ones in the SEC have said, NIL is meant for this. It's not meant for us to go pay them to recruit. But with the loopholes you have and the liability and, the lawsuits, there's really no way around it. People are going to do it. And unless you've got the power like the FBI to go investigate, you may never know about it.
Yeah. I think in college we're headed to where the NCAA isn't even a part of it, maybe eventually. Yeah. High school, though, it's great. Like you mentioned D1, like it's great for us. We have lots of another Maryville athlete, Amanda Mack, volleyball player. So she's been coming and working out with us for a long time, and she'll, just post and stuff. So I think something like that is great because somebody like Amanda doesn't have time to have a after school job.
Yeah, that's what it's meant for. It's meant for, a really good local player to benefit from the fact that they're working hard on their craft, and they may partner up with a D1 or a local restaurant chain or whatever the case may be, and it's a fair deal. It's not like D1's not going to go give Amanda Mack or Noah Vaughn or whoever $100,000 contract to promote D1. It financially doesn't make sense. But when high schools who have a lot of money and donors and sponsors can collect hundreds of thousands of dollars to do whatever they want to with, it turns into free agency. And what 15, 16, 17-year-old, is going to say no to that. It's just, I don't think it's healthy. And I think there's a lot of coaches that agree with that, but we don't have the answer to how to fix it or stop it. I mean, I'm not smart enough to figure that out. So, I know Maryville's not involved in it, and I hope is not in any way, shape, or form, but I hope our kids take advantage of what they can on their own if they're approached and reached out to.
Yeah. So one of the things I do for UT is I go speak to a class every semester that's all athletes about how to handle themselves in an NIL world.
Cool.
And it's actually an NIL class, but I come in to talk about from the business perspective. And it's
Yeah.
funny the looks on their faces when I tell them stuff like, hey, listen, you're not being hired because I told this to Joe Milton. I said, if you're being hired by somebody for NIL, it's not because they're your fan. It's they might be a fan, but if they're hiring you, it's because they think you're going to bring them an ROI.
Yep.
So you're at work when you're going to do stuff. If you're going to do something at
100%.
wherever it is, so kind of talking to them about how to conduct themselves like they would if they were going to work at whatever CVS after school.
That's right.
So
Yep.
um,
It's a
but
for-profit business.
exactly. And RO, return on investment is what these guys are, a company is looking for when they hire you.
Yeah.
What are your like coaching aspirations? Do you have visions of, following in Quarles' footsteps, or, are you a high school guy? What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, so that's something that I've thought a lot about the last 7 years. I took over, I got promoted at Maryville High School when Coach Quarles left, and I was 26 at the time. And so at that time, listen, I was happy being his assistant for my whole career. I was kind of hoping he would stay there. But I think everybody knew, he had passed down some opportunities, and this one came along, and it was kind of perfect for him, and was super happy for him, yet sad at the same time. Um, when I took over, Casey, I think my aspirations were, well, I want to be at Maryville, and then when you have success early, it's like, well, um, maybe I will be in college one day. And the the I guess the pride in me thought, yeah, I'd like to do that, I'd like to try that. Um, and you have opportunities each year. If you have success at a program like Maryville, you're going to then fill in the blank name.
Mhm.
Then I started having kids. And so, and I've fortunately, the relationship I have with Coach Quarles, you get to be around college program a lot in off season and talk to him, weekly or biweekly. And when you're at Maryville a long time, a lot of the same schools come in and recruit. You get to know those coaches really well. You get to, talk to those guys about their experiences and their life. And you get to, I mean, I'm friends with a lot of the coaches that recruit Maryville. And a lot of times they're coming in with different colored shirts on, they're with one school one year and they're somewhere new the next. And I think I've learned a lot from that. And what I've learned is I think I'm a high school guy. I don't think I have any aspirations of being in the college game. And, maybe when my kids are grown up, and I'm bored at the house, who knows? What will college football be like then if it's this way now? But no, I think I'm a high school coach.
Yeah. That's funny how that's just kind of a mentality. And I also picked a career. I wanted to be Casey Kasem. I don't know if you remember Casey
Yeah,
Kasem.
oh
Oh,
yeah.
okay. And I wanted
You're
to be this
halfway
big.
there already.
Well, the thing, so I worked for Star 102.1, and I
Awesome.
had this career, and I thought, I'm doing it. But then I watched the people that were also kind of adjacent to me in the radio career, and they start bouncing around. Oh, great, I got to promote, I get to go to Sacramento or Indianapolis, which these are technically promotions, but I'm just kind of like you. I'm kind of a hometown guy, and I just want to stay here with my kids. And
Yeah.
so I kind of realized that wasn't really the trajectory that I wanted for my life, even though the job was cool. So it's just a mentality that you, I guess, grow up with, and I'm right there with you.
That's awesome. Yeah, for sure.
Um, so tell me I ask everybody this, one big sports memory for you, and it can be either as an athlete, a coach, or a spectator.
Wow. Um, well, my whole life's kind of been the Maryville High School theme. So let me connect three memories for you that kind of tie
Sure.
all into the same one. I remember being at the state championship game when I was a kid. My dad drove me down there. My dad took me to all the Maryville games growing up. I remember being there when Pearl Cone beat us in the championship game your first year at Maryville.
It
But
was
I remember
snowing that day too, I think.
it was snowing. It was awful cold. Henderson was a monster.
Yeah.
The next year we won it. And that was 97. We lost in 98. The next year we won it. And we won it convincingly. It wasn't a nice weather day that day either.
Mhm.
I remember my dad, we were sitting there and I'm ready. The game's over. I'm freezing. I'm ready to go. And my dad said, "Hey, we're going to stay and watch the celebration because this doesn't happen very often."
Mm-hmm.
And he was a Maryville grad as well. So I'll never forget that, because just that comment, this doesn't happen very often. And lo and behold, it happens a lot more in the next few years. Little did we know. Fast forward um, to my junior year, and we win state championship. Well, we're sophomore, junior, and senior, but my first year as a starter as a junior, we win state championship, and just having that moment with my family after the game. And it's like, this is kind of what I dreamed of as a kid growing up, going to all the Maryville games, and here I am. Um, my my junior and senior year, and my teammates. We had such a great senior class. My senior year was so special, and Ryan, and we have all kinds of stories about going out to eat on Thursday nights, and it was so much fun. And we just had a blast. And then fast forward to my first year as head coach, and we win state that year. And I remember walking off the field, and my dad's walking up to me, and I just lost it. I can count on one hand the number of times I've cried in the last 20 years. I wish I cried more. I just can't. I can't work the emotions up inside of me. When I saw my dad, I was 26 or 7, and we won state, head coach at Maryville. That was a dream of mine. And it started from when he took me to the state championship game in 96 and 97 and 98. And so I just lost it, and I remember him thinking, what's going on? And I was just beside myself, happy, emotional,
Yeah.
because all those dots had kind of connected. And I'll never forget the feeling. And, certainly we won it again in 19, and that was super special. Probably one of the best teams we've ever had at Maryville. But for some reason, that first one just hits a little bit different.
Oh, I bet. I absolutely bet. That's great.
Yeah.
You just really quick, I want to tell you what I thought of when you mentioned wanting to cry more. No, really, the one thing that I love every year watching is the Jim Valvano speech.
Mm-hmm.
And in it, he talks about every day. It's a great day if you, what does he say? You laugh, you learn, and you cry. It's something basically like that. And he includes crying. And I'm like, every day you cry?
I know.
That's intense. And he's like, that's when
Yeah,
you know it's a great day. But
that's right.
it was a great speech. But
Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, I get chills every time I hear that one.
yeah, yeah. So I got a quick speed round for you.
Let's do it.
It's about a lot of these are about kids on your team currently.
Fantastic.
So, funniest player on the team right now.
Funniest player?
Mm-hmm.
That's a great question. Probably Blake Heckman. He's got a great personality. Big right tackle.
Yeah.
He's funny. He's
What
funny,
about
man.
funniest teammate when you were at Maryville?
Taylor Akins takes the cakes, not even
Oh
close.
my gosh, I should have known that.
Yeah, yeah. Not even close. He was hilarious.
Yeah. Who's gonna have the longest playing career of your players now?
Ooh, that's a good question. Uh
Assuming Gage's leg heals perfectly.
yeah, he'll heal back up. He'll heal back up for sure, and will be a force, no pun intended, at the
Mm-hmm.
college level. Man, Blake Heckman has all the tools. He's big. Linemen typically can go further. Just he has things you can't coach, which is size, and so he has all the tools and athleticism to play for a long time. So maybe him. I think there's others too that we probably don't even know about that will have a chance to play even
Yeah.
longer.
Who would make a great coach on the team now?
Casey Cobble would make a great coach. His dad's a coach. Graham Coulter, both our quarterbacks. Really smart, intelligent kids, and they understand. Nolan White, another coach's kid. Those three right there would make fantastic coaches.
Now, who on the team could best talk their way out of a speeding ticket?
That's a great question. Okay, so probably Hutton Jones. He's got the most charisma and poise under pressure.
Huh?
He would, and I don't think he speeds though. But if push come to shove, I would see him doing it the right way. Respect,
Right
class,
on.
he checks all the boxes.
Yeah.
It's a great question.
Now, for you, favorite football movie?
I remember the Titans. Yeah, to me, it's a no-brainer.
And what is your go-to music when you're like preparing for a big game?
Yeah, I mean, I listen to everything, but minus rap. Not anymore. More country probably than anything. But my favorite bands Need to Breathe, and I probably listen to them more than any other band. It's not even, that's Need to Breathe is my go-to. They've got like 8 albums I like, and so I can mix that up and be perfectly happy.
Gotcha. Well, Derek Hunt, thank you so much for taking the time, buddy. Best of luck this season, and we'll talk soon.
Man, appreciate you. Thank you so much.